The Salt Lake Chamber is proud to honor Harris H. Simmons and A. Scott Anderson as giants in our city for their professional achievements and tireless contributions to enhance communities throughout Utah. This prestigious honor reflects the guiding principles at the very heart of Zions Bank and its pioneer heritage. Zions Savings Bank and Trust Company was organized in 1873. Founder Brigham Young created the bank to help the Utah Territory flourish and to support people of all economic backgrounds build their savings. Over the course of the bank's 140 years in business, Zions has funded small businesses that have grown into major corporations and has served the needs of Utahns around the state. As Zions Bank's buildings have changed through the years, the company has evolved into one of the nation's premier regional banking operations that stays true to its pioneer legacy.
I think Zions Bank's heritage as being a community bank really came out of its initial founding and growth over 100+ years. When my father first got involved with the bank, I think he tried to keep that community bank focus. Harris grew up with that and saw the importance of that.
I think beginning with Roy Simmons, Zions Bank has been known as the local bank that supports the community and gives back. Harris has continued in his father's legacy, and having Scott Anderson out front in the community as the president of the bank has been remarkable.
Harris is probably one of the finest, well-respected businessmen in the state of Utah. Nationally, Harris is well respected. He's been the national president of the Bankers Association.
In the 1990s, when Harris Simmons took the helm of the banking company that his father Roy had been leading since 1960, he adopted guiding principles to memorialize Zions' mission to create value. Zions Bancorporation creates value for its shareholders, employees, customers, and communities. Its mission is to improve the quality of life for customers on every rung of the economic ladder.
And that's how you create value in the community, is you help people build their business, expand their business. Both Harris and Scott feel very strongly about that.
Harris and Scott take their role in creating value seriously. They run their organizations so that they are, in fact, creating value and building the community.
Scott and Harris are great friends, great bankers, and they have vision and commitment to make things happen in the communities where they have banks.
Scott and Harris care about the community to see it grow and progress and become more viable. But more importantly, their contributions as giants in our city because of what they've done to our communities and giving back. But together, I call them the dynamic duo.
Zions Bancorporation today has grown to total assets of nearly $55 billion, more than 10,000 employees, and nearly 500 branch offices. The company is included in the S&P 500 index.
I think Harris has a lot of my dad's style. I think that he is concerned about people first as much as anything else. At the same time, Harris is extremely analytical. I think a lot of those characteristics he got from our father.
They're a team, a great team in the community. Neither one could do what they do without the other.
Harris is a quiet leader. He's incredibly modest.
Scott is the face in so many different community circles for Zions Bank.
Zions Bank's significance in our community is not just because they're a large bank, but because of the leadership of Harris Simmons and Scott Anderson and the way that they are engaged with our community in so many different levels.
Scott and Harris are dedicated to supporting small businesses as they create jobs and drive our economy. Zions Bancorporation ranks 7th in the nation in providing the most U.S. small business administration loans. Over the past 8 years, Zions Bancorporation has made more than 11,000 SBA loans, totaling more than $1.5 billion.
Zions Bank was the bank that we originally started with, and they took a chance on us. And we actually dealt with Harris's father, Roy Simmons. Our first year, we sold 1,500 cars. Last year, we sold 78,000 cars. And they have allowed us to continue our growth and taken a risk on us and helped us to grow.
And I remember feeling very just impressed and excited that the president and CEO of our bank wanted to meet us, and that had never, ever happened before. What Zions Bank has brought to the growth of our business these last 5 years is huge. My father would have loved to have had a banker like Zions, but it didn't happen. If it weren't for the support that we have received from Zions Bank, I don't think any of this would be possible. And we serve over 1,000 people a day.
Scott asks me all the time, what can we do for you? How can we help your company grow? And I love that attitude because I know he personally cares.
We started Omniture in 1996. We were the fastest growing public software company all 3 years that we were public, or second fastest 1 year. It was really great to get advice from someone who was as seasoned as Harris is, and it was always a relationship that I really valued and really appreciated someone taking a CEO of a tiny little company and saying, yeah, I know I'm running one of the biggest companies in the state, but yeah, come up anytime. Also proud of how Zions was a good partner of ours that entire way. And the fact that they take the long-term perspective and long-term approach. And I try to remember that as I see younger guys running their businesses and try to take time and just kind of follow Harris's example.
Under Harris's and Scott's leadership, Zions has expanded its locations throughout Utah and has ensured that its headquarters remain here in Utah, where it employs 4,100 people.
Zions Bank is one of our largest homegrown businesses in Utah, and through their employees, through the support of many organizations, they really make a significant impact on our community in a very positive way. So besides the number of people they employ and the boost they are to our economy, they are great community citizens.
And as you look at Salt Lake City and the accolades we've received in this state over the last few years, in large part it's because of the contributions that Scott and Harris have given back to our community.
For Harris and Scott, creating value means supporting nonprofit organizations that help Utah's most vulnerable residents.
Harris has a real deep concern for people who are struggling. Even when he was little, if somebody needed something, he wouldn't go and buy something. He would make something for them. He'd make a pie, or he'd make some cookies or something like that and take it to somebody who needed help. And he still gives so much and helps so many people.
Harris serves as the chairperson of the Shelter the Homeless Committee. Shelter the Homeless was developed back in the 1980s. Harris led community leaders in the development of this facility. He's also helped with the development of housing. And it's helped Salt Lake City to become a leader in the nation in providing permanent supportive housing and housing with supportive services for people who are in critical need.
Scott was the chair of our board from 2006 to 2008. One of the great concepts he came up with was the Financial Stability Council. The success of the Financial Stability Council really led to a big part of United Way's focus and the foundation of our work in education, income, and health.
And Scott has always felt that way. Every individual, given the right opportunity, can better themselves.
When we needed help, we went to Zions. The Zions Bank branch in Midvale has also started a program with the Boys and Girls Club. Boys and Girls Club of South Valley is a very critical part of our community. That program is strongly supported by Zions Bank.
Because education drives economic success, Harris and Scott are committed to helping individuals advance in society through education.
The system of higher education, when you include everything, is a $4.7 billion a year enterprise. And so to have someone of Harris's business acumen and experience and his integrity, along with his commitment to education, has been very valuable on the Board of Regents, which is the governing board for all of Utah's public colleges and universities. Both Harris and Amanda Simmons are great supporters of higher education in many different ways. They volunteer their time, they help with our resources, and they are just very committed to public education at all levels in Utah.
Quite honestly, Scott doesn't just talk diversity and inclusion and inclusiveness. Scott lives it. He lives it in the people he hires and advances through Zions Bank. He lives it in the different resources that he shares in our community, be they arts or education, all done for the betterment of our city.
I've known Scott for so long and we've been involved in so many different projects in the community. One of the projects that really stands out is the U-Star project. So this was one of those build and they will come. And yes, we've built and they've come in hordes. And that's because of Scott's vision and leadership. And the impact of this program is not just for today, it's going to be there for generations to come.
Bringing vibrancy to Salt Lake City's cultural landscape, Harris, Simmons, and Scott Anderson know that communities flourish through arts organizations.
Harris's major contribution to the arts, I think, and to culture would have to be his shepherding the Salt Lake County ZAP program, not only into existence, but getting it renewed twice now.
Harris has been a lifetime supporter of the Utah Symphony. In particular, he was president of the board in the late 90s, and he really was instrumental in leading the effort and creating the Zoo Arts and Parks initiative, which is a huge source of funding for all the arts.
To not only arts and culture groups, but to recreation programs throughout the county. So all of the county rec facilities that have grown in the last 10 years are a result of ZAP. Harris has chaired that effort every time, which means countless hours behind the scenes.
People said, oh, if we win this, the symphony can go to Europe. And Harris said, no, when we win this, the symphony will go to West Valley. Symphony will go to Taylorsville and to Harriman, and that's exactly what's happening. That's why people see the value, but he saw that as where the need was.
And what they do for Pioneer Theater Company, they do for many cultural organizations in this town. We certainly could not survive without their involvement and effort, and I would suspect that many of my colleagues in town would say the same thing.
Harris had such an ingrained knowledge of what classical music is, the joy it brings everyone, the importance it is in the community. He knows that more now, but he already knew it then. As a musician, the dream is to play on an 18th century Italian instrument. That's where it all began for us, and it's all about sound. Harris Simmons called me back in 10 minutes, and the whole thing was financed.
They're so well known in the community, and they have been great at performing introductions for us to communities all over the state.
When Harris and Scott recognized community needs, they rally others to help improve the quality of lives for all Utahns.
He makes sure that the banking industry serves the community and doesn't just act as a financial institution.
There is nobody that has done more to raise our community up and make it a better place for all of us.
Scott is involved. I accuse him many times of having clones because he's at so many events. He's everywhere and making things better. Scott is very actively engaged in good causes in this state of Utah.
From the vision of founder Brigham Young to the reality of one of the nation's most impressive banking organizations, Zions continues to be a pioneer in banking and to creating value in the community, thanks to the leadership of two giants in our city, Harris Simmons and Scott Anderson.
Scott is down to earth, kind, and genuine.
He's caring,
compassionate.
The outside guy who knows everybody and finds out ways to make connections between people.
Harris is kind, analytical,
extraordinarily smart.
He's charitable,
committed, experienced, a person of integrity.
Scott and Harris, Utah is benefited because you call Utah home.
Let me also thank you for being the kind of person who I hope to be when I grow up.
Thank you for believing in the little guy. You do remember who keeps you in business.
You two are truly the giants in the city.
Congratulations, Harris. Congratulations, Scott.
You've taught me a lot. I hope to continue to learn much more and to work closely with you for years to come.
Congratulations, and thank you for being a giant in our city.
Congratulations. Godspeed. Continue the good work. And don't slow down.